You guys, all those at the back, I can't sing and I can't play any instruments, but I'm going to try and make you all smile if that's okay. That's only according to my wife. I'm going to try, okay? Yeah? Worth trying.
I'm chuckling already, mate.
Worth a try. Okay, so my name's Nigel. With my job, I travel a lot. I'm going to tell you a few funny stories. That's the idea tonight. If you can, just grab on one. It's compulsory to laugh, by the way. Good stuff. Right. Okay. So I travel a bit with my job, and I stop in these, cheap hotels, the Travelodge, the Premier Inn, and I don't know about you guys, but when I go into one of these hotels, booking a room, it's my castle. I love it. So the first thing I do when I go into one of these rooms is just strip off all my clothes and just lie on the bed naked. Just lie on the bed naked because it's my castle. This is, but of course. The chambermaid comes in eventually. But there's nothing wrong with being naked. I sleep naked all of the time, no clothes on. Well, maybe not on some of those long haul flights. But what I find is that I'm worried about age, getting old. So I've started going to the gym. I've got myself a personal trainer, and I said to him, "Can you teach me to do the splits?" And he said, "Well, are you flexible?" And I said, "Well, I can come on a Tuesday and a Thursday." Now, at the gym where we go to in Canterbury, there's quite a lot of ladies, and I said to the personal instructor, I said, "Which machine do you think I could use that would best impress these ladies?" And he said, "Well, there's a cash machine just outside of the wall." So, that's the sort of thing. But I am worried about age because I'm getting a little bit older, obviously, and I've got an auntie who's 80, and she recently went to the doctor complaining about terrible stomach cramps, absolutely terrible stomach cramps, and she said, "It's terrible wind, I'm afraid, doctor. But don't worry, they don't smell, no, they're completely odourless, and they're completely silent." And the doctor said, "Okay, all right, we'll take 2 of these a day, and then come back and see me in a week." She came back in a week's time, and said, the doctor said, "How's it going?" And she said, "It's terrible, doctor, absolutely appalling. They smell absolutely terrible. And the doctor said, "Great. That's your sense of smell sorted out. Next week we're going to work on your hearing." So, yeah, me too. So, age, I'm worried about this. I was at a funeral the other day. We're talking about age of young people. I've seen you on your phone, sir. And I was at a funeral the other day, and one of these young people on the phone was on his phone, and he interrupted the vicar in his sermon at the funeral and said, "Excuse me, could I have the Wi-Fi code?" And the vicar said, "Have some respect for your departed grandmother, son." And the young lad said, "Is that all in lowercase?" But very worried about funerals and things because I had a lady that I heard a story about a lady that had gone to a funeral parlour down at the Co-op down at Story Road about 4 to 5, and they were just closing, and the funeral was the next day, so she wanted to see her husband for the last time. And so she popped in, and the man said, "Well, it's a bit late, Muddy. It's a bit late because it's tomorrow the funeral." And she just took for the last time. So they were obviously very polite because it's a very sensitive issue. So they saw him laid out there, and he was wearing a beautiful grey suit, and she looked quite upset. And the director said, "Oh, what's the matter here?" He said, "Well, he didn't look good in grey. He really hated grey." "Oh, right, I'm really sorry, but look, it's really late, but we'll see what we can do." So the next day was the funeral, and he was out there in the cast, and he was in a blue suit. And she was really chuffed with it, ever so pleased. And she'd said to the funeral director afterwards, "That I really appreciate what you've done, really appreciate that. But how did you do it in such short notice?" And he said, "Well, you will not believe it, but the moment you left, another lady came in, and her husband was dressed in blue, and she said he hated blue." So it was just luck. And the woman said, "Well, it was 5 to 5 though. How did you get it sorted out so quickly?" He said, "Oh, it's no problem. We just had to swap the heads." So I don't know if you know the landlord here, but anyway, a chap has had a terrible accident. Only a young chap, and he's up there in the pearly gates, and knocked on a gate, and it says, "There must be some mistake. I've been taken too early. I'm only 23. Way too early." And the gate man says, "Well, your name's down on the list, son, but there is something you can do." And he said, "Well, what can I do? Anything." He said, "Well, what we can do is we've got this little bucket here. We're going to put you down in Pegwell Bay. With this bucket, you're going to stop the tide coming in. That's all I want you to do. Stop the tide coming in. He says anything. And so he puts him down back in Pegwell Bay. For 3 days, he's going like this with a bucket, trying to put the water out, but of course it's useless. But he's doing it from dawn till dusk, all day long. It's just useless. After 3 days, he's back up there. He says, I've got to plead with you. That is a ridiculous task. There must be something else you can give me to do. He says, well, I'll tell you what, there's one more thing we can do. We're going to put you down in the yew tree at Westbere, and all I want you to do is get a free drink off the landlord. And the young lad says, give me the bloody bucket back. Okay, last one then is a family favourite, so hopefully this will go down well. We know an old lady who lives in a flat in Canterbury. Very lovely lady, but she's very lonely. All she's got is a parrot for company, and the parrot don't say a lot. She goes out one day, locks the door, off she goes. A little bit later, there's a knock on the door. I've always wanted to wonder whether this works. Yeah. Knock on the door, and the parrot goes, "Who is it?" Oh, God, I'll tell you, it's not an easy joke to tell this one. "Who is it?" And the voice on the other side goes, "It's the plumber. I've come to fix your pipes." No, nothing at all. After a few minutes, "Who is it?" "It's the plumber. I've come to fix your pipes. Can you let me in, please?" Nothing. "Who is it?" "It's the plumber. I've come to fix your pipes. Can you please let me in?" This goes on for a bit. As you go, the plumber's not that bright, as you can probably sense. "Who is it?" "It's the plumber. I've come to..." Anyway, he gets really cross. He gets so cross, he has a bit of a turn, falls flat dead on the floor. A little bit later, the old lady comes home, falls over the fella as she's trying to get in, and she says, "Who is it?" And the parrot says, "It's the plumber! He's come to fix your pipes!" Thank you very much, guys. It's worth a try. I think we better go home.